Hey, I'm BMOC, and I'm tuning to BMOC.TV. After this review, do me a favor and check out the brand new episode of The Culture. It's episode 3. It was hilarious. We went over a lot of the one gotta go posts, like, who has to go, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, or Prince. So it was really, really fun. Please check that out after this review. Thanks. So today I want to talk about the brand new album from Mr. Mac Miller, Good AM. I think it's called Good. Is it Good Morning? Good AM. GOOD. It's, I don't know, but it's a Good AM. I was pleasantly surprised. Not necessarily the biggest Mac Miller fan, but I've been familiar with his work. But this album really it blew me away. I was on a flight in Nashville handling some business, a music business, and on the flight just kind of listening to the whole album a couple of times, man, and heard it again when I landed back in New York, and I was really impressed. So I kind of want to break down every track and just give you my thoughts. So the first track starts off with Doors, like the intro to the album. I love the mellow, low-key turn-up vibe. It's my new term, mellow, low-key. I'm loving the chords and orchestration that's built around the song. Tyler, Creator, actually produced it. So it was a great way just to start off the album, as the album is a little bit more down-tempo-ish type, but it's definitely a great starter for the project. After that is Brand Name, which is fire. In this song, and I hate to compare artists. I know artists want to be unique, and I'm not such and so, I'm not such and such. But it really gave me a J. Cole vibe in terms of the backpacker conscious type of style that I necessarily wouldn't expect off the top just based on Mac Miller's persona. But I loved it. It could have been a track for J. Cole, but it was a track for Mac Miller, so it's definitely a compliment. I'm a big J. Cole fan. He really did his thing on it. The track is, again, really soulful. It gives me early Kanye production wise. I love how the beat breaks down at the end. It's just fire. Next up is Rush Hour. I was on the plane when I first heard it. I was like, head nod. I had the ill head nod. When you hear something new that's fire, you oh! You know what I'm saying? Had to run that. I actually ran back brand new 3 times when I first heard it, and I got into this. I was like, man, this is dope too. So loving the lyricism, loving the delivery on it. Dope. Then it's 2 matches featuring Ab-Soul. They killed it. It is funny because going back to the comparison, I feel like this track could have been on the deluxe version of To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick, and it just so happens that the producer Soundwave, produces a lot of stuff for TDE and also is a producer on Kendrick's album. So it definitely makes sense that sound would be there. But again, Mac Miller makes it his own. Ab-Soul kills it with this feature. But that last verse from Mac Miller, just bodies the song. Then after that, we get into 100 Grandkids, which is the single. The beat is unorthodox, but it fits his flow with this. It fits the cadence of the song. Also, the Bad Boy for Life flip. In case y'all didn't catch that, the we ain't boom going nowhere, ain't going nowhere, 'cause we can't be stopped now, 'cause it's Bad Boy for Life. But whatever. But I like that. Diddy's been known, he got his claim to fame, obviously, for sampling hits, so it's cool when an artist is sampling him. But again, dope flow. I definitely can see why this was a single, because it is a little different than the rest of the songs, but lyricism and the flow is definitely top notch. So digging that one. So then we get into Time Flies, another great track. Again, not with the whole J. Cole thing. I don't know, maybe it's the tone. It's definitely, the content is a little different in terms of the points of view, but it's still introspective rhymes. Maybe his tone, his flows was reminding me of J. Cole. I don't know. I haven't played J. Cole's album in a while, even though it's hot. So I don't know, what it is. But again, fresh track. Again, more mellowness, more little introspective stuff. Also, you have Lil B. If you're a fan of Lil B, he's giving you his wise words in the background of the song, which is cool. Then we get into the song called The Weeknd featuring Miguel. It's not necessarily one of my top favorites, even though it's a great song, and I can definitely actually see this being a single on the radio. It's just compared to the other tracks I feel on the album are just so strong. This one is it's cool, something that you can vibe out to, something that definitely you could hear everybody playing, but not necessarily one of my top favorites. But Mac Miller does his thing, as well as Miguel. Then we get into Clubhouse. This beat, this instrumental is so dope. Crazy. It's it did how Mac's flowing over it. It's he's doing gymnastics over the track. It's 6 different styles. Every 4 bars, he's switches up the flow, the cadence. This is sick. I definitely could hear maybe like a Drake feature or something because it kind of fits into that lane in terms of like Drake's new flow. But Mac kills it all over, every pocket, every style. He's just all over this track. Every rhythm of it was pretty dope. Just from an artistic point of view, just listening back to that again, really clever rhyming and a rhyming style for him. Then we get into In the Bag, which goes a little to like the low key turn up. The low key turn up is the dope thing. The low key turn up for the fall, the winter time is what's on point. So if you're trying to be, you know, rapper out there and do those tracks, produce those low key turn ups. But dope. It gives me a little trappish vibe, a little 3 6 Mafia-ish type in terms of like how he flows over the tempo of the track. So really dope. After that is Break the Law. So when you hear people say, you know, they miss that old boom bap style, the boom bap style from the 90s, the boom bap, this is what they're talking about. Like this track could have been, you know, released in 1993, 1994. It's that hoodie Timberland New York rap, which is fire. You gotta give him respect for just going back and getting that authentic feel. So this is, you know, if you're a hip hopper, you can't not like this track. You can't not like it. It's dope. Also love how the beats and the vocals switch at the end, just production wise, how they kind of chop it up and goes back and forth. Fire. So then we get into the track. It's kind of split up into 2 different songs. One is called Perfect Circle, and the other is Godspeed. Perfect Circle has like these bluesy guitars that Mac Miller is rhyming over, which is cool. And necessarily one of my favorites of the album, maybe like the lower one for me on this. But it's cool. You know, the bars are there, just not really sonically, so not kind of like grooving too heavy. But then when it turns into Godspeed, this is actually one of, I think this is probably the better half of that song. Just again, Mac Miller giving more introspective rhymes, talking about situations he had to deal with family, maybe thinking back about how his film situation was, you know, before and during the success and things that have happened. So it's always like a great personal conversation you're almost having with him, maybe even more personal because it's in the music. People tend to be more freer, you know, behind the beat and kind of give you some things that they may not have told you if it was like a one-on-one scenario. So again, cool if you don't really know some of his you know, previous work and not as hip to it. This may give you an idea kind of where he's coming from and his foundation as an artist and as a human being. So after all that deep, those deep rhymes, those deep bars, we get into When in Rome, which goes back to the turn up. And this is a different type of turn up. This is like the song where you could play, you know, this is a song that they will play at a place, but they throw in them dollars. You get what I'm saying? They throw them dollars? Yeah, alright, cool. You gonna sing that? Perfect. So this is a song where you could hear like kind of in that setting, you know, it could be Amigos, future-ish type of world, loving the trap sounds and the trap snares and the drum rolls and all that stuff. Definitely a dope track to turn up to. Also gives like another layer of vibes to the album, which again makes it even more eclectic in terms of Mac's rhyming style and the production she chooses to spit over. So dope. So then we get into the song Ross, which features, you know, Mac really digging into his R&B side, man, like throwing some vocals. He's coming for Drake's spot, man, with the singing and the rapping. And it doesn't sound bad, actually. It sounds like he's like in some kind of like a jazz club or whatever, and he's singing over it. And you know, one of the biggest things with hip hop and rappers, and the reason why a lot of the songs are, people say they're too sing-songy, is because rappers are really tuned into the melodic side of their music. And, you know, internationally, when you play different venues and, you know, just different areas, the melodies are always really important, man, because even if people can't really understand what you're saying, they can follow the melody. And the melody makes things catchy. So a lot of times artists are just waiting for the hook to be melodic. They're going to start with the verses, which is why cats like Drake and Fetty Wap and Future and these guys are really winning. You know, whether you like it or not, you know, people can follow a melody. So it's pretty cool. And he did his thing on this. He starts off with it, adds extra little layers to it. So it was dope. Dope record for the females, romantic, talking about a girl, you know, all that good stuff. So good track. So after he does a record for the ladies, he's, you know, he gets back to the money, man. Get back to the money with a song called Cut the Check with Keith Chief. It gives me a like trap in drill-ish, the drill sound and trap-ish vibe. You know, cool turn-up song. Again, something different. Again, something that you wouldn't necessarily expect right after the last song. So cool. Then after that, we get to a song called Ascension, which we see like the production is like stripped down because, you know, Mac is giving like these introspective rhymes and lyricism, and so you have production like that. It's kind of like just a little simpler. You kind of can hear every single thing that he's saying, which makes for like a dope vibe sonically. Then we get into a song called Jump, which I just love the intro of this song. Just how like the sample was kind of like just chopped up in the middle of it. He could have just went right into it, but just having that from producer standpoint, just extra thumbs up for the extra effort and vibes and sounds. I love like this is a bounce record, which is a perfect marriage of, you know, Mac's cadence on this. Also love how the snares and the kicks switch up after the first verse. I definitely could have heard like a Wiz Khalifa or something featured on this as well, just based upon like the style of the production. Then last but not least, we get into a song called The Festival featuring Little Dragon. I'm really digging this collaboration. You know, if you don't know Little Dragon, they're a really dope group from Sweden, so go check out their stuff. But again, a great clash of worlds, so to speak. I'm loving the ambient melodies that go throughout the entire song, which is kind of a little trendy nowadays to go for that vibe. And I also love the touches of trip hop that are meshed with it as well, just from like the kicks and the snares perspective. So a great way to kind of end it just off of pure, you know, production is great. And obviously Mac has been in fire verses. He's been fire on all the songs on the entire project. So you definitely tell like the step up in lyricism coming from him on this. So overall, I really enjoyed this album. I mean, when I listened to it, I wasn't expecting to really like it so much. And as I play it more and more, I'm more attached to it. I can honestly say this could be a top 5 contender of the year. I mean, you know, let's see what happens fourth quarter with all the other projects going to come out. But I think it wouldn't be far-fetched to say this is definitely top 10 of the year. It could possibly top 5. So, you know, don't just take my word for it. Check it out and put in the comments. Let me know what you thought about it. Did it exceed your expectations? Did it not meet your expectations? Was it just there? You know, what are your thoughts? Even if you aren't a fan of Mac Miller, you know, let me know what you think. And if you are a fan of him, let me know if it matched up to you with his previous work. So basically, guys, so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I post out reviews every Friday or Saturday, you know, depending on the day. I'm just gonna give you my thoughts. So check back in. Also with the culture, we have a show every Monday to have a group of guests from our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups, that's BMOCTV. If you want to be on the show of that, all you gotta do is just join the group. We discuss, we talk, hit me up, and you're on the show. It's just that simple. For all these episodes and more, check out youtube.com/BMOCTV. Please subscribe, or BMOC.TV. I'm BMOC. Peace.